Have you ever wondered how to price your digital products, online courses, coaching, or services? Well, in this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 of our proven pricing strategies for an online business that have made us over $3.4 million online so far. Let's go. Now, before we get started here, I do have to give a little bit of a common sense disclaimer here. Now, when I say for you to charge a high price, I'm not saying just to charge a high price for the sake of it. Obviously, the value that you're selling to people must outweigh the price that you're charging them for that thing. Right? So I'm not saying charge $1,000 for an ebook or something like that. I'm saying try to match your value with the price points I'll be sharing with you. Also, another myth I would like to bust is that just because your competitors are charging a specific price, it does not mean that you have to compete with them on that price point. When you do your marketing correctly, you should basically be able to charge whatever you want because pricing becomes irrelevant when you're using the right marketing strategies and you have great personal branding in place. Just wanted to make you aware of that as well. So the first proven pricing strategy for an online business is called the Ascension model. Okay, what is the Ascension model? Well, it's typically when you start somebody off with a low ticket offering, anything below $100. It could be a video course, it could be an ebook or something, or a collection of ebooks, it could be a series of audio tracks, whatever. Anything that provides value to people that doesn't fix the entire problem, but fixes one very important part of the whole puzzle, you know? And once they have purchased that low ticket offer, you offer them an optional opportunity to upgrade their order to a higher value, higher priced offer. Okay, now this is done either via an immediate upsell sequence after they purchase, after they hit the order form it shows on the next page, or in your follow-up sequence. If you're smart, you'll do both. But essentially you're upgrading people and saying, hey, you know, now you've got this, how would you like to do this? You know, and this is the next step. Or it could be a way to increase their results or get results in a faster time frame or something like that. But you're offering an opportunity to upgrade their order to a higher price point. And you do that again and again and again, increasing the amount of money that they spend with you while increasing the amount of value they receive from you as well. And eventually you will get to your high ticket offering, which is anything $2,000 or above, okay? And this is typically coaching, consulting, or some kind of done for them service where you're doing the work for them if possible. So maximum value on the high end, and on the low end you have your low ticket offering to basically acquire the customer, and then you upgrade them to that high ticket offering over time. Now this works for all types of digital products, courses, coaching, consulting, anything like that. Now you need to think of what do you have right now, and then think of this Ascension model and map the whole thing out. Like, what are you missing? And what can you slot in to the missing points? Okay, so typically you might start with like a book or digital version of a book or something like that at $7. Then maybe, let's say, a video course showing what's, you know, explained in the book, and then maybe upgrade them to some kind of website design service if that's your niche, or something similar at $497 or $997 for a course, and then possibly upgrade them to a coaching program at $2,000 or $3,000 or so. Now, most people get this incredibly wrong because they just sell low-priced stuff again and again and again, and they're left wondering, where are these 6-figure years I'm looking for? Where are these 7-figure years? Where are these 100K months that everyone is bragging about, right? Well, that's not going to happen if you're just selling $7 or $27 or $97 products. The money is made with the higher priced, higher value offerings, and this model is a great way to get people who've never heard of you before to see you as an authority figure to the point at which they would pay you those higher prices without resistance. So let's talk about some of the pros and cons of this pricing strategy. Now, one of the biggest benefits of this pricing strategy is that people who have purchased something from you with a low price point are far more likely to spend more money with you than people who've never heard of you before. Another amazing thing about this pricing strategy is that it gives you instant gratification for the effort you're putting into your marketing and everything else, because it's a lot easier to make those sales of $27 or $97 than it would be to make a sale of $3,000 to people who've never heard of you before. So seeing those sales come in, even though they are a lot lower in terms of the price point, it's rewarding, it's motivating, and it motivates you to do more. Something else is that you see a more consistent flow of cash, which is incredible for cash flow, because even if you don't get a new high ticket coaching client or something like that, you still have the income coming in from those low ticket offerings as well. Plus, something else people love about this model is that it's very passive. It does not require human interaction. You don't need to be on the phone selling like a $27 or a $97 product. It's all sold online via an automated sales funnel. So you can just be, you know, doing whatever you want in life and having sales come through on your phone, and it's an incredible feeling. And the final benefit is that if you have a low advertising budget, this pricing strategy will work better for you than just promoting a high ticket offer and that's it. Because Because if you're selling a high ticket offer at say $3,000, you may need to spend $2,000 or $3,000 to acquire that new client, and you will see nothing until that money is spent. Whereas if you're selling something for $27, it's not going to take anywhere near as much in ad spend to see a return on your effort. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There are some negative points to this. The first point is that it can sometimes take a while for people to upgrade from a low ticket offer into a high ticket offer, and not everyone will. Some people will just buy your low price stuff and that's it. And that's all good, you know, they're giving you money. But ideally as a business owner, you want as many people as possible to upgrade from that low ticket offer into those higher priced offerings, and that doesn't always happen. And that's okay. Whereas people who do upgrade can sometimes take anywhere between a week, sometimes all the way up to a year to upgrade. And of course that's okay because you're in this for the long haul, right? But just don't see this as like an immediate thing that's going to happen in 3 days. Something else I really don't like about this pricing strategy is that because you're charging a low price point to acquire the customer in the first place at the beginning of this ascension strategy, it attracts a lot of people who don't do the work. You know, people who just think, yeah, I'll look at it later, and later never comes. And because they don't go through what they've purchased, they don't see the value you can provide, and they never end up upgrading, and that makes it look bad on you because then you have a low success rate from your customers. A final downside of using this pricing strategy comes from it being a pet peeve for your customers, right? They hate the upsell process again and again and again. It's like they purchase something at $27 and they're like, yeah, this is great. And then they're offered something for like $97 and it's like, okay, well, you know, I kind of wanted this thing, but I'll check this out as well. Yeah, go ahead. And once they're in that thing, it's like, oh, by the way, we have something else. And it's like, well, I only wanted to spend 27, but here's something else. Go ahead, yeah. And then they're in that thing and it's like, oh, by the way, we have something else. And it never ends. And of course, that works for a lot of businesses and, you know, it works for us really well, but some people don't really like that ascension model at all. The second proven pricing strategy for a successful online business is selling high ticket offers at $2,000 plus and nothing else. So this method works amazingly well if you're selling done with them type services like coaching or consulting, or done for them services like agency services, or you're doing something for the customer or client. So the way this method works is you have a coaching program or consulting service or something at a high price point you want to sell. Now you only want to sell that and nothing in between, right? So what do? How do you turn people who've never heard of you before into people who are actively wanting to buy this thing? Well, the way it works is you'll typically advertise some sort of free training or masterclass or mini course, whatever you want to call it, and they opt in or subscribe to your email list for that free training. Then of course you follow up with them to get them to book a call with one person on your sales team or yourself, and you essentially have a sales call with them to convert them into your high ticket offering on the phone. And once they are inside the high ticket program or service, you can typically upgrade them eventually into a mastermind or something like that with a much higher price point of say $10,000 or $20,000 or more, and that's how you increase the ROI from each client as well. Now there are a lot of pros and cons to this method as well, so let's go through some of them right now. Now the biggest pro here is that you only need one offer. You just have your coaching program or service or consulting service, whatever it is, whatever you're selling for that high price point, and that's it. You don't need any low ticket stuff like books, video courses, audio tracks, or anything like we just discussed in the Ascension model. You literally just have that one offering and that's it. So it's a lot less work. Another obvious benefit is that it can be a lot easier to hit your income goals every month when you're charging higher price points. So let's say, for example, you're charging $2,000 for each new client to enroll into your coaching program or something similar. Well, how many of those new clients would you need every single month to hit 10K a month? Well, 5. You need 5 people and that's it. Through the whole month, you only need to find 5 people. But if you're selling something at $27, you obviously need a lot more volume, okay? Now, of course, that's not really a fair comparison because you don't just sell them the $27 offer and walk away and that's it, right? You upgrade them to these higher ticket offerings, but hopefully you see my point here, right? The other thing is that it's a much simpler sales process. So with a low ticket offering ascension model, you typically have all these different moving parts and it can be quite complex and difficult to use all the text stuff to get that assembled and everything in between. But with a high ticket pricing strategy, they typically just sign up to your email list with a page, and then you have another page for the value that you provide to people, either a video or webinar recording or something similar, and then you have the option to book a call with an application form and scheduling that in your calendar. That's what, 4 pages compared to all of these other pages that you would need with the Ascension model. So it's a lot easier. Now, talking about volume, that is one of the other benefits as well, that you don't have to work with as many different people as you would do if you were working with low ticket customers, because because of the higher price points, you can hit your income goals of 10K a month with those 5 people. You only need to work with 5 people instead of all of these hundreds of other customers. A final positive point about this pricing strategy is that because people are paying you more money, they are often way more committed, which means they're going to do the work, they're going to implement what you teach them, and they're going to get results. And that makes you look great as a coach as well. But the high ticket pricing strategy is not as simple and easy as it sounds. The biggest downside is that you need to become very good at selling people or closing people on the phone, because all of your enrollments rely on how well that sales call goes. If you're not very good at sales, if you stumble all over the place, you're not using a proven flow, and you're doing all the wrong things, you're going to find it very difficult to get these new high ticket clients. One more thing is that it can take a while to start getting new clients when you're investing in advertising. So you might have to spend $2,000 or $3,000 to see your first clients come in while you're refining your whole process, and that can be a bit of a waiting game, especially when you're just putting money into something, and it can take a lot of investment required to be able to get to a point where you're seeing a positive return on that spend. And because of the higher price point, you can typically experience long wait times between getting new clients, especially when you're just starting out. Now, it might be that you get a client on Monday and then you get one on Friday, but during that time you're thinking, where's my next client coming from? Is this person going to close? Am I going to have to, borrow money to be able to pay for my overheads? Especially if you have employees or you've got like software costs and everything else, it can be worrying if you're not used to that. And now we come to the pricing strategy for an online business, which is the best of both worlds: online courses, which are typically sold anywhere between $297 and $2,000 depending on your niche and what's inside. Now, I love this pricing strategy because you're just having to create one online course ranging from 6 to 12 weeks, and you're helping people to achieve a life-changing transformation in that course. And because it's a much lower price point than something which is high ticket, you don't need to sell it over the phone. You can automate the whole thing while still seeing the benefits of the higher price points, which is incredible. So once you've created this online course, all of your effort really is just down to marketing it. It's like, what can I do on social media? What can I do with my paid advertising? And that's it. And if you have multiple topics you want to create courses around in your niche, go for it. You can always upgrade people from one course to another and vice versa. Now, there are some really interesting pros and cons to this method as well. One thing I like is that you can make this successful with just one offer. So all of your attention goes into that one offer. Once it's created, it's done. You don't need to create anything else perpetually and just sell that one offer on an evergreen basis. And because everything is online, you can automate it. You don't need to do any kind of fulfillment. You don't need to do any kind of coaching or consulting because it's all online in the online course. You can automate your marketing, automate your advertising, and everything else in between. It's incredible. Something else I love as well is that you're still taking advantage of those higher price points without having to do sales calls to get people enrolled. And that I love. And because people are still paying you a sizable chunk of cash, they will still go through the course, they will do the work, they will implement the steps, and they will get results, which makes you look awesome as a coach. They'll give you testimonials, which you can then use to attract new customers who will also get results. They'll tell their friends, and everything works in perfect harmony. But there are some cons that you should be aware of as well. The big one is that it can take a lot of time and effort to create the course in the first place to be able to start selling it. And if you're not really sure how to do that or what to say or everything in between, it can take you a while, longer than it should, which can delay your success. And speaking of which, if you are a complete beginner to this whole thing and you're not really that familiar with your audience, you can run the risk of creating something they don't actually want to buy. Often as course creators and content creators, we want to create stuff and we want to say, this is what people want to know. But in reality, it might be something completely different. Like, I would happily talk about mindset stuff all day long, forever. But I found through my research and knowing my audience that that's not really what they want. They want strategies, especially getting started. So that's something to consider as well. Now, if you would like to see exactly how to create your own profitable online course and sell it in an automated way to generate that passive income online, go ahead and visit digitalprosperity.com. The link should be on the screen if you're watching on YouTube, or click the link in the description and I'll see you there. Also, if you've enjoyed this episode and found it valuable, please go ahead and hit the thumbs up button and also the subscribe button to make sure you never miss a future show. I'll see you in the next one.